How's practice today? How the guys look out there?
Good, really good. We've had a couple of really good weeks of practice, especially coming off a tough loss. So there's definitely tons of energy out there, and definitely ready to roll.
Obviously, at kind of a low moment in the season, coming off that loss, how have you seen the group sort of respond through this week and a half?
Yeah, obviously, we watched the film, learned from it, and they really just put it behind us. This group does a really good job at that. No matter win or loss, kind of put things behind us. Now we have to look forward to the next game.
Coach talks a lot about desperate versus prosperous. Do you see sort of a difference in the mentality in that sense this week?
For sure. I definitely think it was a wake-up call, just, the magnitude of how we lost. It was definitely not our brand of football on all phases of the ball. So it definitely just internally with one another made us look at ourselves of what we need to do better.
And what do you think's missing from getting the passing game on a roll?
Yeah, I think, every play has its own story. And it starts with me ultimately. My job is to look back at what I could have did better. If my feet were right, if my read was right, and my ball placement was right. So those are really the things I can control. The other things, I know those guys on offense and the coaches will get that figured out.
I know when we talked from Temple to Rice, you felt like it was kind of an upward trajectory that you guys had been on. Was there something that changed against North Texas or why that didn't continue?
Yeah, I think it's just self-inflicted stuff. There's nothing that North Texas did that really, affected us, whether it was, like I said, it wasn't a good throw by me, it wasn't the right read, drop pass, protection, whatever it might be. Those are things, we'll all learn from as part of the game, but obviously you have to hone in a little more when it appears that much in the game. So,
how do you feel overall about your play at this point in the season?
Yeah, you got look at our record, 3-4. Not good enough. So ultimately, you go to try to win every game, and ultimately it's a team sport. So I look at our record and it's not good enough.
How about for you individually?
Yeah, like I said, probably same deal, not good enough. Obviously I'm striving to be, a lot better than what I put out there, and I know I can be. It's only a matter of time.
Is there anything in particular that you're working on?
Yeah, not really. Just kind of everything. That's footwork, pre-snap, post-snap, whatever it is.
Is the open week good for you physically in terms of just kind of recovery and being fresh for the back half of the season? How important was that?
Yeah, definitely important for me. Just get my body back under me, so definitely important.
When you say you can be a lot better, how encouraging is that kind of in the mental part of your game?
Yeah, I don't really let any past performance affect me, or at least I try not to, whether it's good or bad. I kind of we have to put it past us because it's in the past. So I look forward to the next game. Obviously, I have a lot of confidence in myself, but ultimately a lot of confidence in the team around us. So yeah, definitely excited for the opportunity.
We've talked this season about the downfield passing attack in particular. Is there anything that you can point to that would have to happen to get that going or spark that at a higher level?
Yeah, like I said, we just can't hurt ourselves. It starts up front with those big guys, so just them holding it down protection-wise. Then my job is to get our playmakers the ball. And if like I said, that's tied to my feet, my ball placement, my read. If I do that right, I trust the guys that on the outside to make the catch.
I know this probably wouldn't impact you as the quarterback, but Coach Traylor said that the practices have been a little bit more physical the last week and a half. Have you noticed a difference? What's changed there?
Yeah, for sure. Especially from the defensive side, I know they were a little bummed about their performance physically, but it only made our offense better. We did a little good on good, ones versus twos versus ones, etc. So definitely helped us out from an offense standpoint, just because those guys are being so physical.
Do you feel like the groups sort of buy into the culture is still strong? How important is that at this time of the year?
Yeah, that was something we just talked about. That was similar to this year and last year. Obviously, didn't want to be in the same scenario back-to-back years, but it is what it is. But one thing about this group is we always bought in. No matter what the circumstance was, and that's why Coach mentioned, we're so good in November and so on and so forth, because our bought-in, no matter the situation, is really good.
You alluded to this year versus last year. This seems like a similar situation to coming into that Memphis game last year where you guys jumped up. Do you notice some similarities to where you were then as a team versus where you are now?
Yeah, the similarities were, you're not where you want to be in the season, and then you're on, national TV against a really good opponent. Those are really the similarities. But, that was a Memphis team last year, and this is a Tulane team. So it's a totally different team, but a really good opponent. But the mindset doesn't change. Whoever we play, we have to be ready.
Does that give you some confidence, though, that you can come out and perform, just given the way last year played out?
For sure, and I think, like I said, just looking back at how this team always performs in November and whatever it is, that our confidence is really high no matter the circumstance.
What is it about that you guys have been so good in the month of November?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I think it starts mentally, just keeping being locked in throughout the season. No matter the circumstance, like I said, is we continue to build on that, and I definitely think it's very special to have, though.
What do you see on film out of Tulane?
Yeah, really good defense. Obviously, Tulane's been a really good program over the years. They have a really good D-line, and then linebackers, DBs are really good as well.
How big of a game is this in the players' eyes? How do you see it?
Yeah, every game's a big game, but obviously national TV, in the Alamo Dome, there'll be tons of energy on both sides of the ball, so definitely a big game for sure.
How have you handled kind of the leadership part of your job this last week and a half? How much are you talking to guys? What's kind of your message?
Yeah, I think, my job is to still be the same guy. I have been all season, but, coming off a conference loss like that, maybe I need to, start talking a little bit more. So if it's ultimately, it was my mistake, meaning a missed throw or a misread, I'll tell those guys I got to own up to that but if there's a drop pass or a misprotection, I might have to get on those guys a little more, just because we're kind of past that in the season where we can have those mistakes, especially against really good teams in conference.
Have you started doing that differently, or are you thinking about potentially doing that differently?
Yeah, no, I definitely started to it. I won't, yell at them or anything. I'll talk to them one-on-one. That's just kind of how I am as a leader. But that'll definitely happen, more, and it's been happening more, whether in practice, game, whatever it is.
They're 6-1, Tulane, but really every one of their conference games has been close. I mean,
Yeah.
You guys have to feel like this is one right from the jump, that you can be in this thing and be with them or win this thing outright.
Oh, for sure. I think, we look at that, with any opponent we play. I know it's a little cliche, but that really is the truth. I mean, you can't look at the record. At the end of the day, you're lined up against the man from across from you. So, like I said, a really good Tulane team on prime time, in the Alamo Dome, so it'll be tons of energy.
Thanks,
Thank
Owen.
you,
Appreciate
Owen.
it.
Thank you.